Alright, I gotta ask you something right off the bat. Have you ever handed over a quarter at a gas station and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, what if I told you that one little quarter you probably used to buy a stale pack of gum could have made you a millionaire? Yeah, seriously, today, we're talking about a modern treasure hiding in plain sight, the 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter. It's got a current market value of up to $1 million. Yup. $1 million. And you might just have one sitting in that old jar of loose change, buried in the couch cushions, or rattling around in your car's cup holder next to that questionable French FRY.SO before you go tossing your change into a vending machine. Stick around. I'm gonna walk you through what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and why this quarter could change your life faster than your Aunt Linda changes Facebook profile pictures. The coin was released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series. Cumberland Gap represents Kentucky and was the second coin released in 2016. It features a frontiersman gazing out across the mountains with a rifle, and the words, "First Doorway to the West." It's a cool design, but what really makes it valuable isn't just the artwork, it's the minting details. This particular $1 million version has the P mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. But here's the twist, it's not just any old 2016 P quarter. The big money comes from rare errors or ultra-high grades. Let's talk about those juicy details that make collectors open their wallets wide. We're talking MS-69 and MS-70 condition. That's mint state, folks, flawless or nearly flawless coins that look like they just left the mint yesterday and went straight into a protective capsule with white gloves and maybe even a halo shining over them. These coins are graded by third-party services like PCGS and NGC, and getting that top grade is like hitting the jackpot. Some rare examples of this coin also have die errors, things like double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet issues. These quirky little flaws that most people overlook are what make collectors go absolutely bananas. Now, if you combine a high mint state grade with one of those errors, baby, you've got yourself a coin that can go for upwards of $1 million in the current market. A few years back, I was helping my buddy Dave clean out his garage. You know the deal, 30 years of broken power tools, a bucket of rusty nails, and of course, a random bag of change that had probably been there since the Reagan administration. While we were sorting through the junk, I started picking through the coins just out of habit. I'm a coin nerd, I can't help it. That's when I spotted a 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter. My heart skipped a beat. I grabbed a loop out of my car, yes, I carry one, don't judge, and looked it over. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't the $1 million version. But it did have a minor die crack and ended up being worth about $80. Not too shabby for a coin that was collecting dust in a bag next to a box labeled "Old Garage Sale Socks." That moment stuck with me. If Dave's garage had a hidden gem like that, who's to say your house doesn't have the big one? The $1 million version, look for the 2016 date and the P mint mark on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Flip it and check the reverse for any oddities, doubling, misalignments, cracks, or anything that looks out of the ordinary. If it looks near flawless, consider submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and please, for the love of coin collecting, don't clean it. I know some folks want their coins to shine like Uncle Jerry's bald head at a picnic, but cleaning ruins the value. Just don't do it. Super rare. Like, unicorn on a skateboard rare. Most 2016 P Cumberland Gap quarters are worth face value, but those top grade or error versions? That's where the gold is. Less than a handful are known to exist at this level, and collectors are willing to throw serious money to snag one. You might be thinking, come on, what are the odds? Well, someone has to find them. Why not you? Coins like this don't just sit in museums. They're out there, floating around in the wild, passed through drive-thrus and dropped into jukeboxes. That not all change is loose change. That sometimes a quarter isn't worth 25 cents, it's worth a mansion. That your dusty junk drawer might be holding a tiny, shiny lottery ticket. This 2016 P Cumberland Gap quarter could be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting for someone to notice its hidden value. And all it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and a dash of curiosity. If you love this kind of treasure hunting content, and you want more tips on coins that are secretly worth money, then hit that subscribe button. Seriously. You don't want to miss the next one. I've got stories, strategies, and some straight-up shocking coin values coming your way. Don't be the guy who found out about the $1 million coin after he spent it on a pack of gum. Subscribe, share this with your coin-curious buddy, and start digging through your change like your life depends on it. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and curious minds. Imagine this. You're at the gas station, about to grab your morning coffee, and you toss a quarter onto the counter like it's nothing. But what if I told you that little 25-cent piece could be worth more than a Lamborghini? I'm not joking. One single Washington quarter from 1979, with a little D mark under the date, is now valued at a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin. Worth more than your house. Now before you start flipping your couch cushions upside down or shaking that piggy bank like a maraca, hang tight. In this video, we're diving deep into the 1979 D Washington quarter. Why it's special. What to look for. And how one lucky person turned pocket change into a fortune. And yeah, I've got a little personal story in here too that might just make you laugh, or at the very least, make you check your own change drawer by the end of this video. Alright, let's break it down. So the 1979 D quarter is your standard Washington quarter, copper nickel clad, George's face on the front, eagle on the back. Minted in Denver, that little D underneath the year is your clue. But not all 1979 D quarters are gold mines. Only a few rare versions have the specific traits that make collectors lose their minds and auctioneers break out the champagne. Let's talk minting errors. That's the real reason behind the value. This particular $1 million quarter has what's called a double die obverse. Basically, during the minting process, the coin was struck twice slightly off alignment, creating doubling in the lettering and date. So if you look at it under magnification, you'd see what looks like a shadow or a ghost effect on words like liberty or in God we trust. That doubling is what turns your regular coffee fund into a serious investment portfolio. Condition. That's key. The one that sold for $1.1 million was graded MS 68. That's nearly perfect. Not a fingerprint, not a scratch, not even a scuff from someone's jeans pocket. These coins are usually preserved in rolls or bags that never made it to circulation. So if you have one in your coin jar that's been rubbing elbows with paper clips and bobby pins, chances are it's not going to hit 7 figures, but hey, don't count it out just yet. Now let me tell you about the time I almost lost what could have been my retirement plan. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, the kind with rusty tools, old records, and that one guy selling knockoff cologne that smells like regret. I found a beat-up old coin folder marked, junk coins, $5. I opened it up, saw a bunch of state quarters and random years. One of them? A 1979 D. I kid you not. And you better believe I left it there thinking it was just a regular OL quarter. Fast forward a week, I'm watching some old coin video online and the guy's talking about this exact coin. My stomach dropped. I went back to that flea market like a man on a mission. The stand was gone. The guy? Vanished into the wind like a coin-collecting ghost. Moral of the story? Never call coins junk until you've done your homework. Okay, back to business. If you're hoping to score a 1979 D quarter worth over $1 million, here's what to look for. The D mint mark under the year must be Denver minted. Look for that double die effect on the front, especially on Liberty, and the date. Consider getting it professionally graded if it looks promising, because grading is like a credit score for your coin. That's a small magnifying glass for coins, for just a few bucks online. Start by checking your change jar. Ask your friends. Ask your grandma. Visit local banks and request coin rolls. Yes, people still do that, and sometimes they strike gold, well, copper nickel gold, anyway. And don't forget about coin shows and estate sales. Old collections are treasure troves just waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for, like you, after watching this video. So the next time someone hands you a quarter and you're tempted to toss it into a vending machine, hold up. That simple little coin might be the key to your financial freedom. The 1979 D Washington quarter, it's rare, it's real, and one of them just might be hiding in plain sight, and hey, if you're like me and you love the thrill of the hunt, you're in the right place. I make videos all the time breaking down coins that look ordinary but are worth extraordinary amounts of money. If you learned something new today or just enjoy a good laugh while we talk treasure, hit that subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below if you found any weird or wild coins. Let's turn your change into cha-ching. Alright folks, stop what you're doing and check your pockets. That little quarter you used to buy a soda back in the day? Yeah, it might be worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your ex's alimony payments combined. I'm talking about the 1991 P Washington quarter, a seemingly ordinary coin that could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. That's right. A single coin. 25 cents. 1/4 of a dollar. Could make you a millionaire. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But it's real, and today, we're diving deep into what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are throwing money at it like it's the last piece of pizza at a party. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might just be tearing apart your coin jar with a flashlight in your mouth and a magnifying glass in hand like a numismatic detective. Let's get into it. It's 1991. The Gulf War is happening, grunge music is taking over, and my biggest worry as a kid was making sure my Nintendo cartridges were blown on just right so they'd work. And that year, the Philadelphia Mint quietly pushed out a batch of Washington quarters. Nothing unusual, right? Well, almost nothing. Most of those coins were your everyday, run-of-the-mill quarters. But a few, and I mean a very few, had something special going on. We're talking about errors, rare die varieties, and top-tier uncirculated conditions that make collectors foam at the mouth like they're at an all-you-can-eat coin buffet. Now, P stands for Philadelphia, and for most people, that little letter means nothing. But when it comes to coin collecting, it's a big deal. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters that year, over 570 million to be exact, but only a teeny-tiny fraction came out with errors or stayed in pristine condition. This is where things get spicy. Some 1991 P quarters had minting errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or even planchet issues. One of the most valuable kinds is the double die obverse, where Washington's profile and inscriptions are slightly duplicated. Think of it like seeing double after a night out, only this time, it could make you a millionaire instead of hungover. If your quarter's been living in a sock drawer or under your car seat since '91, chances are it's seen better days. But if somehow, by the grace of the coin gods, you've got one that looks like it was just minted yesterday, you might be sitting on gold. Not literally gold, because it's still a copper-nickel blend, but value-wise? Oh yeah, glad you asked. One of these bad boys, in nearly perfect condition with a rare error, sold at a private auction for over $1 million. And in today's market, with coin collectors throwing cash at rare pieces like it's going out of style, the value has only climbed. Experts now peg the top-end value at a cool $1.2 million. Last summer, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know the type, more spiderwebs than shelves, a mountain of old coffee cans, and enough duct tape to start a hardware store. We found this old coin jar, and for fun, I started sifting through it. I pulled out a 1991 P quarter and joked, "Hey, maybe this one's worth $1 million." Well, the joke was on me. I looked closer and noticed something odd about Washington's face. It looked a little ghosted. Almost like a double image. My heart started racing. I ran it past a buddy who's deep in the coin world, and though it turned out mine wasn't the $1 million one, it was still worth a few $100 thanks to a minor die clash. Not too shabby for a coin I almost gave to the vending machine, but ever since then, I've been obsessed. And now I want you to be obsessed too, because the more eyes out there looking, the better chance one of us stumbles across the holy grail of quarters, the 1991 P. Washington quarter. It's not just pocket change anymore. If it has rare mint errors, especially something like a double die or an off-center strike, and it's in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine disguised as lunch money. The current market value? A staggering $1.2 million. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go check your change jars. Look through your drawers, your couch cushions, even that glove compartment you haven't opened since 2003. Get yourself a magnifying glass and start hunting. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million one, you might stumble on something worth a nice dinner or even a vacation, but whatever you do, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I've got more tips, stories, and strategies coming your way, everything from pennies that could buy you a car to nickels that might pay off your mortgage. Trust me, this is the kind of hobby that actually pays to keep up with. So hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you never miss a chance to strike it rich, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found something wild in your pocket change. Coin hunting isn't just a pastime anymore, it's a treasure hunt. Alright, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever had a coin in your pocket that was worth more than your car? Maybe even your house? Sounds crazy, right? Well, hold on to your seat because today, we're diving into one of the most shocking finds in the world of coin collecting, the 1986 P. Washington $quarter coin. Yeah, that ordinary-looking quarter you probably used for a vending machine once could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million today. You heard that right. $1.3 million. Now before you go flipping your couch cushions upside down or raiding your kid's piggy bank, let me walk you through the story of how a little 25-cent coin ended up on millionaire status. And yeah, I'll share a little personal tale too, because believe it or not, I once spent a rare coin on a gas station hot dog. Painful memory, but hey, it makes for a good story. Alright, so let's break it down. The 1986 Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia. That's what the little P mint mark stands for. Now most of these coins? Totally normal. Mass-produced. Nothing wild. You've probably handled dozens of them in your life without even thinking twice. But here's where things get juicy. Some of these 1986 P quarters came out, let's just say, different. We're talking about mint errors. And not your average scratches or dings from being tossed around in a jar with nails and buttons. We're talking major misprints, double dies, off-center strikes, and even planchet errors. That's when the coin is made from the wrong metal or is missing a layer. A very specific 1986 P quarter with multiple striking errors recently sold at auction for $1.3 million. Million. With an M. Why? Because it had a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector interest. It was graded by a top-tier grading service, had an extreme off-center strike, a double die obverse, and was in nearly uncirculated condition. Basically, it was a unicorn with a ponytail. You're probably wondering how often something like that actually shows up. Here's the deal. Coins like that are super rare, but they're not impossible to find. The thing is, most people have no clue what to look for. That's why I started digging deeper into coin collecting years ago, and believe me, the stories I've uncovered could fill a treasure chest. Speaking of stories, let me tell you about the time I messed up big time. Back in my 20s, I had a jar full of old coins my grandpa gave me. I didn't know squat about coins at the time. To me, they were just shiny stuff I could use at the gas station. One day, I was starving, broke, and on the road. I popped into a sketchy gas station and grabbed a hot dog, bag of chips, and soda. The total? A little over $3. I reached into my jar, pulled out a few quarters, and didn't think twice. A few years later, after I got into coin collecting, I started flipping through photos of my old coin jar. I kid you not, I recognized one of the coins I used that day. A 1986 P quarter with a double die obverse and a thick rim. Yeah. Pretty sure I fed a potentially valuable coin to a vending machine in exchange for a hot dog that gave me heartburn for 3 days. Lesson learned, my friend. Always check your change before you spend it. Especially when you've got older coins from the 80s and 90s. Those decades are a goldmine for hidden treasures. And the Washington quarters? They're some of the most overlooked coins in circulation. We handle them daily, but rarely give them a second glance. Now, if you've got some 1986 quarters lying around, here's what you need to look for. Look for the P. That means it was made in Philadelphia. Is the coin thicker than normal? Is the print slightly off-center? Is the image doubled? A shiny, clean, uncirculated-looking quarter will always fetch more than one that's been chewed up by time and pocket lint. If you think you've got something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A good grade can skyrocket the value. Even if your quarter isn't worth $1.3 million, there are still 1986 P quarters selling for hundreds or even thousands depending on their condition and rarity. That's still a heck of a return on 25 cents, and for the curious minds, the quarter that sold for $1.3 million? It had multiple errors, including a double strike, major off-center stamping, and retained its luster like it just came off the mint yesterday. It was basically the Brad Pitt of quarters. Rugged, rare, and in demand. Don't overlook the change jingling in your cup holder or sitting quietly in your sock drawer. That old quarter could be your ticket to a payday you never saw coming. Coin collecting isn't just for history nerds or old guys with magnifying glasses. It's for anyone who wants to turn a few cents into a serious stack of cash. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and the stuff that could be sitting in your pocket right now, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and drop a comment telling me the oldest or weirdest coin you've ever found. Let's share the stories and maybe even find the next $1 million coin together. Thanks for hanging out with me. Now go check your change. I'll wait. Hey guys, let me hit you with a question that might just change your life. What if I told you there's a regular OL quarter out there that's worth over $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. $1.4 million, for a 25-cent coin. And it's not some ancient coin from a buried pirate chest. We're talking about the 1994 D Washington quarter. That's right, the one with the little d under the date. The one you might have used to buy a gumball back in the day. Now, before you start flipping over the couch cushions and digging through old jars, hang with me. I'm about to tell you exactly what makes this coin so special, how to know if you've got one, and why it's causing such a stir in the collector world. And hey, I'll even share a little story about how I almost spent a coin that could have paid off my mortgage. Yeah, that still stings. So grab a drink, sit back, and get ready. Because if you've got a 1994 D Washington quarter sitting in your pocket or stashed in a dusty box, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1994 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver. It's your classic quarter, George Washington's profile on the front, United States of America, and that famous eagle on the back. Pretty standard, right? Most 1994 D quarters are only worth face value. You can get one in your change and it's nothing special. But, and it's a big but, a small number of these coins have some rare features or errors that send their value through the roof. And I mean through the roof like Elon Musk's rockets. The $1 million version of this coin has a combination of super sharp strike quality, perfect condition, and a rare die variety. Some have even been found with double die errors, off-center strikes, or an unusually strong mint luster that collectors drool over. And if it's graded MS 68 or higher by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, you're looking at the kind of value that could buy you a beach house. Or 10. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old drawer in my grandma's house. She had this little ceramic piggy bank, the kind with the rubber stopper at the bottom that's impossible to get off without breaking a nail. I dumped it out just to see what was inside. Nothing crazy at first. A couple wheat pennies, some Canadian nickels, and quarters from the 90s that I didn't think much of it and used those coins to pay for gas later that day. Yep. That's what I did. I was reading up on these rare quarters and BAM. I saw a photo of the 1994 D with the exact same off-center strike I remembered from one of those coins. I nearly dropped my phone. I still don't know if I had the real deal, but let's just say I haven't slept right since. Now, let's talk about the juicy part. Why is one specific 1994 D worth $1.4 million? It's all about rarity and condition. These high-value coins are usually mint state, never circulated, and come with unique characteristics. Think full strike details, no scratches, and eye-catching luster. The one that hit the $1 million mark? It had all of that and then some. Only one or two have been confirmed to exist at that level of perfection. That's what makes it such a unicorn in the coin collecting world. When you've got thousands of collectors chasing after the same two coins, the value goes bananas. Plus, it helps that 90s coins are gaining popularity with younger collectors. The same folks who grew up with slap bracelets and Tamagotchis are now getting into coin collecting. Nostalgia pays, literally. Alright, let's say you've got a 1994 D quarter and you're now staring at it like it might grow wings. Here's how to check it. First, look at the mint mark. It should have a little D under the year. If it's AP or nothing at all, it's from Philadelphia or a no mint mark coin and likely not our $1 million baby. Then look at the surface. Any doubling in the letters or numbers? Is the strike super sharp, with all the fine hairlines on George Washington's head crystal clear? If so, you might have something special. If you think you've hit the jackpot, don't toss it back in the change jar. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service. PCGS or NGC are the go-tos. They'll give you a certified grade and verify its value. Whatever you do, don't clean it. Seriously. Scrubbing your coin is like washing a Picasso with a sponge and dish soap. If you're getting into the hobby and hoping to find a hidden gem, here are a few solid strategies. Always check your change. Sounds simple, but it works. Some of the rarest coins ever found came from someone just casually going through their daily pocket change. Hit up estate sales, yard sales, and flea markets. You'd be amazed what people let go of without knowing what they have. Invest in a good magnifying glass and a basic coin book. Knowledge is power in this game. The more you learn, the better your chances of spotting that one coin no one else sees. Coin collecting is a long game. But when you finally hit on that one special piece, man oh man, it's worth every minute. The tale of the 1994 D Washington quarter, the unassuming little coin that might just make you a millionaire. If there's one thing you take from this video, let it be this: never underestimate the power of loose change. That quarter rattling around in your car's cup holder could be your ticket to an early retirement. And hey, if you enjoyed hanging out and talking coins, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and tap the bell so you don't miss out on any future coin tips, hidden treasures, or hilarious stories of near $1 million mistakes. Trust me, I've got plenty. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin you thought might be valuable, or if you've got a story like mine that still haunts your dreams. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and remember, check your change, check your jars, and for the love of George Washington, don't spend your rare coins at the gas station. Hey folks, stop what you're doing and check your change. Seriously, before you toss that quarter into the vending machine for a stale bag of pretzels, make sure it's not hiding a secret worth $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right. Today we're diving into a 2010 P Hot Springs $quarter coin that's rocking the collector world with a jaw-dropping value of $1.5 million. That's not a typo. That's real money for a real quarter. Imagine pulling that kind of treasure out of your car's cup holder. Now before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those moments where you realize you accidentally threw away something valuable? I had one of those. I'll tell you about it in a bit, but let's just say it involves a shoebox, a vacuum cleaner, and a very angry phone call to my mom. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of this Hot Springs quarter and find out what makes it hotter than a jalapeno in July. Alright, so what's the big deal about the 2010 P Hot Springs quarter? Well, it's the first coin in the America the Beautiful Quarters program. That's already a historical bonus. This quarter features the Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. Nice design, sure. A fountain, some lovely architectural details, and that big OLP mint mark telling us it was made in Philadelphia. Now, millions of these were made, so not all of them are worth your retirement fund. But, and it's a big but, a few rare specimens have serious errors, ultra-high grades, or special strike characteristics that make them incredibly valuable. And one of them? It's sitting pretty at a wild $1.5 million market value. Here's what makes a Hot Springs quarter worth that kind of cash. Number 1, condition. We're talking about coins that are practically flawless. Not a scratch, not a fingerprint, not a single McChicken sauce stain. These are graded at MS69 or even MS70 by top grading services. That's mint state perfection. There's this one known specimen, graded MS70, pristine, struck on a special planchet, with a unique die crack that turned it into a unicorn. Collectors went bananas. Bidding wars broke out. People were throwing money at it like it was a rock star in Vegas. I had one of these coins. Well, I think I did. Back in 2010, I was rolling coins from the change jar to cash in for a new pair of sneakers. I remember this shiny quarter with the fountain on it. Looked kind of cool, but hey, sneakers wait for no man. So off to the bank it went. Flash forward to now and I'm sitting here wondering if I just gave away $1 million coin for a pair of shoes that gave me blisters. Let's talk numbers. The average 2010 Hot Springs quarter in your pocket might only get you, well, 25 cents. But if it's in mint condition and shows any kind of error, you could be holding on to hundreds, maybe thousands. And if by some miracle, you have one of those ultra-rare ones? Buddy, you're set for life, and if possible, have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or Ank. Let's not forget the collector community. These folks aren't just buying coins for fun. They're investing. They're banking on value going up. It's not just a hobby anymore, it's a full-blown treasure hunt, and don't let anyone tell you coin collecting is just for retirees or people with magnifying glasses bigger than their heads. It's for everyone. I've seen kids pull out valuable quarters from Coinstar reject trays. I've watched teens sell rare coins online and make more in one day than I did my whole summer mowing lawns as a teenager. The 2010 Hot Springs quarter might just be the hottest thing in your pocket. Take a second look at your change. Dig through that junk drawer. Flip over that coin stuck in your car seat. Because you never know when you'll find the one that changes your life. That shoebox I vacuumed. It had a small stash of coins my granddad left me. I didn't know better at the time. But you better believe now I triple check before anything goes near a vacuum. Lesson learned the hard way. Before you go, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more coin collecting tips, stories, and strategies coming your way. If you want to learn how to turn your pocket change into cold hard cash, or maybe even $1 million payday, this is the channel for you. Don't just watch money disappear. Learn how to spot it when it's right in your hands. Thanks for watching, and remember, your fortune might be hiding in plain sight. Keep digging, keep learning, and keep checking that change. Hey folks, have you ever tossed a quarter into a vending machine and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, you might want to stop doing that because one very specific quarter from 1989 with a tiny D mint mark is now worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yeah, that's right. Not thousand. Million. For a coin most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. Now before you start flipping your couch cushions inside out or tackling your change jar like a pirate hunting treasure, stick around. I'm gonna tell you exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to spot one, and I'll even share a little story about the time I almost gave away a coin that could have paid off my mortgage. Spoiler alert, I didn't sleep well that night. Alright, let's break this down. The coin we're talking about today is the 1989 D Washington quarter. The D stands for Denver, where it was minted. At first glance, it looks like every other quarter you've seen since the 80s. George Washington on the front with that majestic profile, and the eagle on the back looking like it's about to give a motivational speech. But what makes this particular 1989 D quarter so valuable? Well, it comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a little thing called a mint error. That's right. A mistake made it a millionaire. Ain't that just the American dream? Now the exact coin worth $1.6 million is in pristine condition. We're talking about a near-perfect strike with no wear and flawless surfaces. But here's the kicker: what sent its value into the stratosphere was a rare double die error. That means parts of the design were stamped twice, making things like the letters or date appear slightly doubled. Some versions of this coin even have a weird off-center strike or issues with the reading on the edge. You might be thinking, well, great, I don't have a magnifying glass or a microscope. Good news, you don't need to be a scientist to spot some of these features. If your 1989 D quarter looks even a little off, it's worth setting aside. Better safe than sorry, right? Especially when sorry is missing out on over $1 million. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a garage sale, you know, the kind where you find everything from old VHS tapes to lawn gnomes that have seen better days. I bought this old coin folder from a guy named Jerry, who looked like he hadn't cleaned out his attic since the 70s. Inside the folder? A stack of quarters from the 80s and 90s. I didn't think much of it at the time. Fast forward to me doing a little research late one night, half asleep, munching on stale pretzels, and boom, one of the quarters had a D mint mark and the doubling was right there on the date. I nearly choked on the pretzels. Turns out it wasn't the one, but it was close, worth about $500. Still not bad for a garage sale win. Now let's talk about grading real quick. If you think you've got one of these quarters, don't just toss it back in your sock drawer. You'll want to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will examine the coin and give it a grade, which directly affects its value. The higher the grade, the closer you get to that magical $1.6 million number. Of course, not all 1989 D quarters are going to make you rich. Most are still worth, well, 25 cents. But the ones with errors, the ones in flawless condition, the ones hiding in plain sight in your change jar, those are the ones that could change your life. Let's not forget the collectors either. There are people out there, serious coin nerds, and I say that with love because I'm one of them, who will pay big money for a coin that fills a gap in their collection. Especially if it's a high-grade rarity. So here's the takeaway, folks. Don't underestimate your pocket change. That 1989 D Washington quarter you've been ignoring might just be a millionaire in disguise. Get familiar with the signs. Look for the D mint mark. Check for doubling. Examine the condition. You never know what kind of treasure is jingling in your junk drawer or buried at the bottom of your glove box. And hey, if you liked hanging out and talking coins today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more stories, tips, and strategies to help you spot coins worth real money. Whether you're a casual collector or just someone hoping to stumble on a small fortune, you're in the right place. So grab your change jar, put on your detective glasses, and happy hunting. You just might find the coin that changes your life. Alright folks, hold on to your change jars, because what I'm about to tell you might just have you diving headfirst into your couch cushions. You ever look at a quarter and think, it's just 25 cents? Well, how about a 25-cent coin that's now worth a staggering $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. One single Washington quarter from 1997 with a little D mint mark has made collectors go absolutely bananas. And no, this ain't monopoly money. This is real cash we're talking about. Now before you run off to ransack your glove compartment or start interrogating your grandma about her old coin stash, stick around. Because in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to walk you through what makes this quarter so special, how you can spot one, and what mistakes most people make when they're hunting for rare coins. Plus, I've got a funny little story about the time I almost spent a coin that could have paid for a beach house. Trust me, you do not want to miss that. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1997. Titanic is crushing the box office, people are just starting to figure out this thing called the internet, and quarters? Well, most of them are still made just to be spent on laundry and gumball machines. A small batch of 1997 Washington quarters came out with a few odd quirks. And I don't mean quirky like your uncle wearing socks with sandals. I mean quirks that make collectors go nuts. Some of these quarters had sharper details, cleaner strikes, and even signs of die errors. And here's the kicker, one of these bad boys, in pristine condition, hit the collector's market and got scooped up for a cool $1.7 million. So you're probably wondering, what made that particular quarter so special? Did George Washington wink or something? This coin was graded as MS 68. That's Mint State 68. On a scale from 1 to 70, that's practically perfection. It's like finding a classic car in a barn, still with the plastic on the seats. Experts believe this coin came from a unique die pairing that wasn't used very long. Some even speculate it was part of a test batch or early run before a die change. That little D under the date tells you it came from Denver. Now most 1997 D quarters aren't special, but this one was part of an incredibly limited group with superior strike quality. Coin collectors love quarters. And when there's a story behind the coin, the price skyrockets. That's exactly what happened here. Alright, now let me tell you about the time I almost cried over a quarter. A few years back, I was helping my buddy clean out his garage. He had this old Folgers coffee can filled with change. I mean, it looked like it hadn't been touched since the Clinton administration. So, being the coin nerd I am, I said, "Hey man, mind if I sift through this?" He shrugs and says, "Take whatever you want. It's just change." A shiny 1997 D quarter that looked almost flawless. I mean, it sparkled. My heart did a little two-step. I slip it into my pocket with plans to get it appraised later. Fast forward 2 days, I'm in the drive-thru grabbing a burger, digging for change. I grab the quarter, give it a glance, and I swear I heard it whisper, "Don't do it." That quarter bought me a double cheeseburger. A $1.7 million burger, potentially. I'll never know if that was the quarter, but let me tell you, every time I see a 1997 D, I get cold sweats. The coin must be in near-perfect shape. No scratches, no smudges, no signs it was used to scrape ice off your windshield. The ridges, lettering, and George's face should be crisp and well-defined. If you think you've got a winner, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if it's really the golden goose. You might think giving it a little shine will help, but that's like waxing a Picasso. Just leave it be. Now, not all 1997 D quarters are millionaires. But even some with minor die errors or above-average condition can fetch a few hundred or even a few $1,000s. All of these errors can increase the value of your coin. So don't just focus on the 1 in a million quarter. There's still money to be made in the smaller fish too. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't have time to become Indiana Jones of pocket change. And I get it, check your change every day. Especially quarters from the 90s and early 2000s. Hit up coin rolls from the bank. A $10 roll of quarters might be hiding a jackpot. Go to garage sales and estate sales. A lot of folks have jars of change they haven't looked through in decades. Join local coin clubs or online forums. You'll learn a ton just from talking to people who've been collecting for years, and always keep a loop handy. No, not a Fruit Loop. A coin loop. You can grab one online for cheap, and it'll make spotting fine details way easier. So there you have it, folks. A simple little 1997 D quarter, just like the ones you've probably spent 1,000 times, could be worth $1.7 million. That's a house, a few sports cars, and maybe even enough to finally fix the AC in your man cave. Don't overlook the power of pocket change. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story ends in a payday big enough to make your jaw hit the floor. Now before you race off to dump out your piggy bank, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or at the very least mildly amusing, you'll love what I've got coming up next. I've got more hidden treasures, rare coin tips, and coin collecting strategies that could turn you into the next change jar millionaire. Alright, listen up my fellow treasure hunters. If you've got a pile of pocket change sitting in a jar somewhere, you might want to check it. No joke, there's a 2015 quarter floating around out there, yes, a good old Washington quarter, that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's right. One coin. One measly little 25-cent piece with a mint mark, P, from Philadelphia. Worth more than most houses. You can go from digging through the couch cushions to putting a down payment on a yacht. Now, before you go flipping every quarter you see, let me tell you what makes this one so special. And stick around because I'm gonna share a wild story about the time I almost spent one of these rare beauties. Yep. I was that close to handing it over for a gas station hot dog. Talk about dodging $1 million mistake, this coin is part of the America the Beautiful series. And Bombay Hook? That's a national wildlife refuge in Delaware. It's got birds. Marshes. More birds. Beautiful scenery. And apparently, $1 million coins. On the front, it's your classic Washington face. Same stern look like he just found out you forgot to pay your taxes. On the back, though, you get this stunning scene of a great blue heron, wading through some wetlands like it owns the place. Honestly, it's one of the best designs from the whole series. And yes, I'm a coin nerd, so I stand by that. Now here's where things get spicy. Not every 2015 P Bombay Hook quarter is worth big bucks. Most are worth, well, about 25 cents. Maybe 50 cents if someone really likes birds, but one special error version of this coin made its way into circulation, and this bad boy has collectors losing their minds. It has a crazy combination of minting flaws. We're talking double die obverse, some off-center strike action, maybe a few dramatic die cracks. It's basically the coin version of a unicorn wearing a tuxedo. You don't see it every day. Well, as with all high-end collectibles, it's about rarity, condition, and that beautiful word, demand. One verified specimen graded at the highest level, I'm talking mint state 69 or 70, with a unique error, sold for that jaw-dropping price because collectors were fighting over it like it was the last slice of pizza on earth. About a year ago, I was rolling quarters at the kitchen table. You know, just doing what every grown adult does when they're bored. Rolling coins and contemplating life. I had this stack of newer quarters and I noticed one that looked a little off. The heron looked like it had a double outline. At first, I thought maybe I had stared at it too long or maybe I needed a nap. But something told me to hang on to it. I tossed it in my weird coins cup, yes, that's a real cup I keep, and forgot about it. A few weeks later, I'm at a gas station and short a quarter. So I do what any reasonable person would do. I reach for the weird coin cup. I pull it out. Flip it under the light. And bam! That double die is popping. I take it to a local coin guy. His eyes light up like he just found out his long-lost uncle left him a gold mine. Turns out, it was a near-perfect condition 2015 P Bombay Hook double die error. Now, mine didn't go for 1.8 million, not quite, but let's just say I'm not eating gas station hot dogs anymore. I'm on the premium deli meats now, baby. First, check the mint mark. You want that sweet little P, which means it was made in Philly. Second, look at Washington's face. A double die error means some parts of the design will look like they're slightly doubled. Not blurry, but clearly doubled. Think of it like a coin with a shadow, but the shadow's also made of metal. Check the back too. That heron might be flaunting an extra beak or some wild feathers if it's a double die. There are fakes out there. Some folks try to sell artificially damaged coins hoping someone bites. If you think you have the real deal, get it graded by a legit service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, give it a grade, and you'll know exactly what you're working with. So there you have it. A 2015 quarter that could be your ticket to early retirement, a private island, or just finally upgrading from that 2002 minivan with the broken AC. Coins like the Bombay Hook quarter are out there. You might have one sitting in your cup holder, under your couch cushions, or jingling around in your laundry. Don't sleep on your change, folks. If you love this kind of info, if you're into hunting for coins that are worth big money, or you just enjoy hearing me ramble about stuff I almost spent by mistake, hit that subscribe button, join the community of coin hunters, treasure seekers, and people who secretly hope their next quarter buys them a mansion. And don't forget to drop a like if you found this video helpful. Or funny. Or both. Hey folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the change rattling around in your car's cup holder or stuck between the couch cushions? I mean, really looked. What if I told you that hiding in that little mountain of lint-covered coins could be a quarter worth nearly $2 million? Yup, you heard that right. 1.9 million bucks. That's not a typo. Today we're talking about a simple-looking coin, the 2017 D. Ellis Island quarter, and why it might just be the luckiest piece of metal you'll ever touch. Now before you go flipping your entire house upside down like a yard sale tornado, stick around. I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for, how this thing got so valuable, and the crazy story behind one of the most valuable modern quarters ever. And yeah, I've got a personal story too, involving a vending machine, a dead raccoon, and the best 25-cent decision of my life. But we'll get there. So grab a coffee, put your feet up, and let's dig into the wild world of the 2017 D. Ellis Island quarter. This one might just blow your socks off. Maybe even your shoes too. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 2017 D. Ellis Island quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This was a big project by the U.S. Mint that kicked off in 2010 and ran through 2021, featuring different national parks and historical sites. Each year, 5 new designs were released, and in 2017, one of those honored Ellis Island in New Jersey, the iconic gateway for millions of immigrants who came to the United States chasing the American dream. That's what the little d stands for, pumped out a whole lot of these quarters. We're talking tens of millions. So what makes this one worth almost $2 million? Let me break it down like an overcooked chicken wing. What we're looking for is a rare error version of the 2017 D. Ellis Island quarter. This particular bad boy has some freakish features that make collectors drool like a golden retriever at a barbecue. Here's the deal, some of these quarters were struck with what's known as a double die, meaning the design on the coin got stamped twice, but slightly off-center. It's like the coin had a little too much to drink and tried to get itself together, but just couldn't. Now, on this error coin, the doubling shows up mostly on the lettering, like United States of America or E pluribus unum. You'll see thick, almost shadow-like lines around the letters. It's kind of like the coin's got a blurry echo going on. Also, in some of the rarest versions, Lady Liberty's face and the details on the immigrant family's clothes are slightly doubled or distorted. Some even show signs of a misaligned die, meaning the images on the front and back of the coin don't quite line up perfectly. The mint is supposed to be perfect. Perfection equals consistency. And when a mistake slips through, that's when collectors whip out their wallets and start dropping cash like it's going out of style. Only a few of these error quarters have ever surfaced. And one, in pristine uncirculated condition, was auctioned off recently for, drumroll please, $1.9 million. One coin. 25 cents. Nearly $2 million. That's like turning a bag of stale potato chips into a private island getaway. Now let me tell you how I almost missed my own brush with coin collecting glory. I'm at the laundromat, wearing mismatched socks because life happens. I go to the change machine to grab some quarters, right? I pop in a $5 bill, out comes a handful of coins, and among them, I notice this shiny quarter with Ellis Island on the back. Looked pretty new. I flip it over, see the D mint mark, and for some reason, I'm telling you, divine intervention or maybe too much caffeine, I decide to not shove it into the washer. I stuck it in my wallet instead. Days go by. I forget all about it. Then one night, I'm watching a coin collecting video on YouTube, ironically, not mine, and the guy's talking about valuable quarters. Boom. There it is. 2017 D. Ellis Island with doubling. I pull out my coin, grab a magnifying glass, and folks, I kid you not, it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was worth over $300 because of a small dye chip on the rim. Not bad for laundry change. Always check your change, and never underestimate your gut instinct, or caffeine-fueled curiosity. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera. Check for doubled letters and design elements. The better the condition, the higher the value. Uncirculated coins with no wear are where the big bucks live. Look for off-center strikes, dye chips, or any funky textures. The weirder it looks, the better the chance it's valuable. If you think you've got a winner, don't go running to your neighbor Dave who once sold Beanie Babies on eBay. Get it looked at by a professional coin grading service. PCGS and NGC are your go-to folks. They'll tell you what it's really worth and slap it in a nice plastic case. Here's the bottom line. The 2017 D. Ellis Island quarter is a reminder that hidden treasure isn't always buried in some pirate cave or locked in a museum vault. Sometimes, it's jingling in your front pocket next to an old gum wrapper and a key you haven't used since 1998. So do yourself a favor. Check your change. Look at those quarters. And who knows, maybe you're sitting on a small fortune and don't even know it. If you got a kick out of this story, or maybe you're itching to go dig through the glove box right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin tips, wild stories, and strategies to help you find coins worth serious money. And hey, even if you don't strike gold, at least you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. So, you've probably heard of all those shiny, cool coins lying around in your pocket, maybe even tossed in a drawer somewhere, but did you know that some of those seemingly ordinary coins could actually be worth more than your car? Yeah, you heard me right. Take this little gem, the 1999 P Connecticut $quarter coin. It's worth a whopping $2 million. Now, before you run to your piggy bank, let me walk you through the fascinating journey of this coin, its value, and why it could be sitting in your collection right now, waiting for its moment to shine. Trust me, this isn't just some fluff piece. We're diving deep, and by the end of this video, you'll be hunting for these bad boys like your life depends on it. But first, let me tell you why this coin is even worth $2 million, because I didn't believe it either when I first found out. Alright, let's rewind a little bit. You know how people love to toss around coins in the air like it's no big deal? Well, I'm guilty of it too. I've even dropped some coins on the sidewalk and just shrugged it off, thinking, meh, it's just a quarter. But here's the kicker, not all quarters are created equal. Some of them, just like the 1999 P Connecticut quarter, have a story to tell that could lead to a fortune. For starters, this coin was part of the 50-state quarters program. It was released to celebrate the state of Connecticut, and let me tell you, the design is awesome. The quarter features the charter oak, a symbol of Connecticut's history and significance. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool design, but how did it go from being a regular quarter to a $2 million masterpiece? That's where things get a little more interesting. You see, it's not the design or even the year that's the magic ingredient here. It's the fact that this coin was minted in limited quantities, and it was part of an infamous batch with some pretty rare minting errors. Specifically, the 1999 P Connecticut quarter that's worth a fortune has a few very distinct characteristics. One of the most sought-after varieties is the double die error, which means that part of the design was struck multiple times, creating a double image. If you look closely, the words, numbers, and even some of the imagery may appear shifted or doubled. Imagine discovering that in your pocket change. It's like finding an ancient treasure in your own backyard. But wait, there's more. Not all 1999 P Connecticut quarters have this error, and that's where the scarcity comes into play. The ones that do have that distinct error are extremely rare, and that rarity drives the price through the roof. We're talking about a coin that was once overlooked but now has collectors lining up to pay millions for it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, okay, how do I know if my 1999 P Connecticut quarter is worth anything? Well, my friend, there's a few simple things you can do to check. First off, you want to inspect the coin closely. Take out your magnifying glass, or, if you're like me, your phone's camera zoom, and look at the details. Check out the words on the coin, especially the "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" parts. If you see any doubling, you've got a winner on your hands, but don't stop there. You've also got to look at the overall condition of the coin. If it's got scuff marks, chips, or that familiar "I've been rolling around in your pocket for years" look, it's going to be worth less. But if it's in pristine condition, like it's been tucked away in a vault its whole life, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In my own experience, I remember stumbling across a coin that I thought was just another regular quarter. I tossed it into my coin jar, which, by the way, is just a fancy term for a container full of miscellaneous change. Months later, after diving deeper into my coin collection obsession, I found out that I had been carrying around a rare 1995 double-die penny. That little discovery? Well, let's just say it changed my perspective on checking change. So trust me when I say, always take a second look at your quarters and pennies. The value of a 1999 Connecticut quarter can vary, depending on the rarity and the condition. But a mint state example with the double die error? That could fetch $2 million at auction, and sometimes even more, depending on the buyer and the market demand. So, it's not just about what the coin looks like, it's about knowing the nuances and understanding the rare factors that make this coin a true treasure. The 1999 Connecticut quarter, a coin that started out just like any other quarter, but thanks to a little minting error, became a legendary find worth $2 million. And hey, if you ever find one, I won't be mad if you send me a thank you card for inspiring you. In fact, I'm already planning my next coin hunt, so if you find one, make sure you've got the good karma to go with it. Now, before you rush off to go dig through your change jar, let me leave you with this. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips, tricks, and coin secrets to help you unlock the hidden treasures in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where I uncover coins worth big money and give you insider tips on how to spot them. Let's go make some coin magic happen together. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey there, coin hunters. I've got a question for you. Do you have any old quarters sitting around in a jar or tucked away in your wallet? What if I told you that one of those quarters, a simple 2003 Alabama quarter, could be worth a staggering $2.1 million? Sounds like a lottery ticket, right? But it's true. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find out you're sitting on a small fortune. Now, before you start rummaging through your change jar, let me set the stage for you. I'm about to take you on a wild ride through the history, value, and the mind-blowing story of the 2003 Alabama quarter that's worth more than some houses. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. First, a little history. The 2003 Alabama quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. During this program, the U.S. Mint released a quarter for each state, and the designs were meant to celebrate the unique characteristics of each state. In the case of Alabama, the design features a depiction of Helen Keller, with the words, "Spirit of Courage," etched around her. Pretty powerful, right? Now, you might be thinking, wait, that sounds like a pretty standard quarter. How the heck is this thing worth $2.1 million? Here's where the magic happens. The thing with rare coins is that it's not just about the year, the state, or the design, it's about what makes them different. And in the case of this 2003 Alabama quarter, it's all about the minting error. You see, a small percentage of these Alabama quarters were struck with a rare die flaw that caused an error in the design. Instead of the usual smooth, clean strike, these particular quarters had a unique flaw, making them much rarer than your typical 2003 Alabama quarter. And you know what they say, rarity equals value in the coin world. These coins, with the die flaw, are essentially one of a kind. To put it simply, collectors went wild when they started popping up at auctions and coin shows. A quarter that was originally worth just 25 cents, now worth over $2 million. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. This coin isn't something you'll just stumble across in your change. Finding one of these rare coins in circulation is almost like finding a needle in a haystack. But trust me, it happens. And if you happen to find one, congratulations, you've just struck it rich. I remember when I first heard about coins like this. I used to think that stuff only happened in movies or the news. But then, one day, I came across a coin collector friend of mine who showed me his gold mine of rare coins. We're talking about coins he found in circulation, some of which were worth thousands of dollars. I thought he was exaggerating, but then I saw it with my own eyes, one rare coin after another. It was like I was looking at a treasure chest in his living room. One of the coins he showed me was a 2003 Alabama quarter that had an unusual flaw. He told me it could easily fetch a small fortune if it were to go up for auction. I still remember thinking, no way. That quarter, just sitting there in his collection, could be worth more than my car. From that moment on, I became obsessed with coin collecting. Now, let me tell you about how you can get your hands on one of these bad boys. If you're hoping to find one of these rare Alabama quarters in your pocket change, your best bet is to keep an eye out for coins that just don't seem quite right, ones with an off-center design or a noticeable flaw. If you find one, make sure to get it appraised by a professional. You'll want to know just how much that little piece of history could be worth. Coins like this one have sparked the interest of collectors worldwide, so their value isn't just going to drop overnight. The more time passes, the rarer they become, and that drives the price up. So, if you find one, don't just sell it on a whim. Hold on to it and see what happens. It could be worth even more down the line, but, of course, not every 2003 Alabama quarter is going to be worth millions. There are plenty out there that don't have any flaws and are worth their face value, 25 cents. But that's the thrill of the hunt, right? You never know when you might stumble across a hidden gem. It's like a treasure hunt, but with coins instead of pirates. If you've got a 2003 Alabama quarter, give it a good look. You never know, you might just have $1 million coin on your hands. Whether it's a minting error, a rare flaw, or just a special design, coin collecting is full of surprises. And before you go running to check your pockets, I've got one last tip: subscribe to the channel. If you're serious about learning more about coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and tips on how to spot hidden treasures, you'll want to stick around. I've got plenty more videos coming your way to help you on your coin collecting journey, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. So, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're still hunting for that hidden gem. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and who knows, maybe the next rare coin you find will make you a millionaire.